Alright, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back, and it is time for another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 Pro Replay cast, and this is gonna be a good one. In the bottom left-hand side of the map, we have got Cure playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Cure, one of the top Terrans out there in my opinion. And his opponent, in the top right-hand side of the map, it's Jinair's Rogue. Yeah, this is, Rogue is Rogue is a very, very good StarCraft 2 player. He has proved himself time and time again, and it's time that I think everyone starts looking at him result-wise, that he's one of the best in the world. Like, people tend to sleep on him, I feel, but his results have been pretty darn consistent. And so he's doing pretty good for himself. Now, Kier, on the other hand, he is an absolute monster of a Terran at times. Like, he looks like the best Terran in the world sometimes. I mean, his actual results in, like, major tournaments vary a little bit. I think that's probably partially due to nerves and stuff of how he plays. Enough of that, though. I mean, if you watched, like, IEM or something like that, you'd get a much bigger rundown on the individual players and stuff, but here we are. It is Cure, and he's taking on Rogue in a Terran versus Zerg. And you might be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Why haven't you mentioned what weird map this is? The map is Pillars of Gold. Pillars of Gold. I'm actually looking around for any Pillars of Gold. I mean, it looks like there's lots of gold things around on this map, but not necessarily any pillars. Maybe that's because a Pillar of Gold wouldn't actually be structurally sound for all we know, and that it would just collapse in on itself. Who knows? I'm not an architect. I'm not an engineer. Anyway, so we've got ourselves a normal TVZ build going on between these two players. And before things get too heated, ladies and gentlemen, let's try and hit, it's been a while since I've done one of these, I feel. Let's try and hit 30 likes on this video to show that you guys appreciate an awesome TVZ that's going to be going on between Cure and Rogue, just two absolute monsters of StarCraft 2. So we take a look here. He's going to be running towards the natural of Rogue. We'll see if he's able to get anything. Reaper just starts getting kited by the Lings, and yeah, not too much else is going to be going on there. Reaper just kiting the Lings till eventually the Queen's going to pop out. Very doubtful that Cure will actually get a drone. He gets two Lings, which isn't bad, as long as the Reaper is able to get out. Looks like there is a cliff for it to jump out of on the map, Pillars of Gold, as this is one of the new Team Liquid map contest maps. As, yeah, Pillars of Gold, just one of the ones that was submitted. I honestly didn't get too much of a chance to look at all the maps. That's partially why I'm casting some of these games from the Team Liquid map contest to get, like, a good showing of them. So far, it seems that if I had to gauge this map, I'd say it's kind of nasty when it comes to, like, really nasty when it comes to going beyond 3 bases for the Terran, if I had to say, or for even a Protoss, if I had to guess, because look at how open this base down here is. It's very, very closed off. Even this location here, there's the rocks, there's the attack path from the left, the south, your natural. This absolutely looks just like a, I'm going to straight up say it, a horrible, horrible map if you are, like, a Terran or something. If Rogue, say, gets up to, like, lots of roly-polies, Lings, and Banes, and goes for, like, a big surround aggressively on the Terran, I think this could be absolutely amazing for Zergs anyway. As, yeah, just the nature of this third base doesn't look too nice, so maybe it would be better for Cure to 2-base on a map like this. Really, you can make your presumptuous guesses like I am for this map before we actually really see it in action, because it is tough to gauge fully how exactly a map will play out. Even the map maker can't predict fully. One drone gets cooked up there as it was transferring. Wrong time, wrong place for that drone. Overlord's going to run on in for Rogue as well. It's going to see that this starport for Cure is going to be getting cloak on it. It's going to be producing a Banshee. The Banshee itself doesn't actually get seen, so this could in theory be a fake, but faking out seems to be less and less common in StarCraft 2 now, particularly since, say, Legacy of the Void with the economy changes, because things are just a lot more volatile than they used to be. So there's a lot more options in the first place, so the effectiveness of faking something in particular, it's not too significant. dare I say. Creep Tumor gets picked off as the Hellions for Cure are just running around. Looks like they're going to run into the Lings, cook up a few of them. They might commit on in. Looks like they will. This is very risky for Cure. He's going to dive on in. He hits some of the Lings there. He's taking a lot of damage on his Hellions. Does he at least get one shot off on the drones? That remains yet to be seen. One of the Hellions very injured. 3 remain here. The drones are starting to get cooked up. Secure is getting some damage done. At least 6 drones in all. Make that 7 in total for Cure. Not a bad bit of damage at all getting done by Cure. Now in comes his Banshee, however. The Banshee's effectiveness is probably going to be much more limited as there is Spore Crawlers in position. Second Banshee comes on in for Cure. I'm not too sure what he's going to be able to get done. Maybe able to pick off like 1 or 2 more drones. But with all these Queens here with an Overseer about to pop out, he probably wants to skedaddle. Rogue, while this is going on, is getting up his 4th base. He's just producing plenty. He's got his Baneling speed on the way, and like I was saying, I mean, a big Ling Bane attack or something could be huge on a map like this. As Cure tries to take his 3rd base, because it is a nasty, nasty 3rd base location, dare I say, to take. We'll see if that really is the case, as Cure's going to be floating over to the east, but gosh, this is absolutely a horrible, horrible map for taking 3rds. If I had to guess, like, I honestly, like, we can keep talking about this, but I'm really just baffled. Like, I mean, the ramp coming down here isn't too uncommon, but like the ramp to the north here, it's quite nasty because your opponent can attack on in, hit your natural, makes it hard to defend your 3rd on the side. So we'll see if that really does change things too much. Maybe I am talking about what I don't know. We do take a look, though. SCV is going to run towards the natural base. As they were trying to start up some supply depots. Those get canceled. Cure is heading towards the drop phase of this map, though, as the Terran's going to be just dropping all over the place before eventually consolidating and most likely going for a big push. As we do see, there's 1 siege tank out for Cure. A 2nd siege tank is on the way. Looks like there's also the Banshees in the main base doing a bit of damage, denying some mining in the main. Not bad at all for a Banshee to get that much denied mining, seeing as how there is indeed 2 Spore Crawlers in the main base. The Banshee's life probably will be short-lived, though. Might get a drone or 2. Not bad. Getting a drone. 1 extra drone. 2 drones. Not bad, denying that much mining time. Seeing as how the Banshee's effectiveness usually goes down over time. But take a look at this. Rogue, he wants to dive on in his Lings, though. They were thinking of going to the natural, but it looks like they actually got pulled in by that siege tank, by those Marines. Whereas maybe they could have got to the natural, but they probably would have been cleaned up. Cure still, while this is going on, just dropping all over the place. Hasn't got too much done this game so far. All in all, 23 drones have fallen. These Marines going to kill off an Overlord. That's nice for Cure. Looks like Cure's going to be moving out with the rest of everything that he has. He fires up his +2 attack. We'll see if his +2 armor starts, but there we go. Rogue waiting till the good opportunity to try and move in with his Lings. Fortunately for Cure, he does pay attention. He does react in time. All the while this is going on, Rogue is building up supply. He's even getting pneumatized carapace, which is a little bit curious. Makes me wonder if he's going to try some drops of some sort. Ling's now heading towards the 3rd base. Every time Cure tries to move on out, there seems to be a backstab plan for Rogue. And this is one of the perfect ways to play Zerg, one of the best ways to play Zerg. Just hit your opponent the second they try and move out. And it's not even necessarily that your opponent doesn't have enough to split their army. It's just that it's so tedious to try and defend your production back at home while also trying to put pressure on the Zerg and micro your attack. So Rogue going for those counterattacks really shows his knowledge in this, but he's actually quite worried about defending this base, it would seem, as he's actually just sacking this location. He's secured another base to the top left. He just says, yeah, I'm not going to die on this hill. I'm going to play it safe. He's going to make a lot more Lings as he's getting up a new 4th, a new 5th base as well. So losing this base really won't seem to affect Rogue at all. He's going for another huge counterattack with these Lings. I'm not sure about this one, as there is quite a few Marines back at home to defend, so it's a little bit risky. Rogue, though, he micros the attack, he pulls it back, realizing he can't commit on in. And Cure on his front lines, he simply doesn't have enough to make a push happen anymore. as Rogue is making a lot of lings, a lot of banelings, and it's just sitting pretty. I mean, the Terran usually wants to try and get some damage done, so we'll have to see Cure make something happen, but for now, he is not having a good time. The lings out on the map for Rogue are just being such a pain for Cure. The fact that he always has to defend a counterattack or something like that. Looks like those Marines, they're going to have to retreat to their Thor. Cure wants to go on for this push with all of his Marine tanks, with his Thors, but then, oh, look at that! Banelings crash on into the third base. I don't know if there was a complete wall there for Cure, but I don't think there was. And so 12 SCVs go down, and all of a sudden Cure really needs this push to work right now. He's going to kite back against the Banes. There's a surround from Rogue, though. Cure is trying to run away. He evacuates most of the Marines. Can he save the Thor? Yes, he can. That's an important save. Lots of Widow Mines are on the way for Cure, which is great to see, seeing as how he's going up against a solely Ling composition. You can't really have anything better than Widow Mines against that. One Widow Mine connection goes off, kills a ton of Lings. Lots of Banelings coming in. More Widow Mines burrow. Looks like Rogue is going to try and kill off those Banelings, or kill off those Widow Mines with his Banelings. But all in all, that looks like a pretty solid defense from Cure. Not the most efficient trades, I'd say, from Rogue. However, the fact that Rogue is still pulling Cure apart at this stage in the game, still being on the offensive, is good enough for him. A lot more SCVs going down, really. A Marine drop has tucked itself into the 5th base. This is a nice location for Cure. The Lings themselves can't handle it. It's going to have to be all about the Banelings, so Cure lifts up. He's going to try and split his Marines at this base here, using the low ground, using the high ground, unloading, loading up constantly, and all the while the reinforcements are getting ready to come on in and join up. It looks like Cure says, right, I've taken a lot of damage due to these constant attacks. They've really been keeping me down, but you might not actually have enough to attack a big attack or to defend a big attack, and I feel like that could very well be the case here. We're looking at a 40 supply Zerg against an 80 supply Terran. That is not good odds for the Zerg player, so Cure, he should push while he can push. Looks like the 5th base for Rogue is going to go down. He's having to reestablish that to knock down to 4 bases. I mean, you'd much prefer the Zerg is on 3 bases as a Terran. That's when you know you're really winning the game. But for now, Cure will take that, getting that damage done. He fires up his 3-3 a little bit later than it could have been. But still better late than never. Cure doing a good job kiting these Banelings with his Marines. Rogue was trying to basically tire Cure out there, just hoping that he'd stop microing those Marines, but in the end, Cure does stay on point, microing those Marines back against the Banelings, getting pretty good trades there with the Marines, and now we're even going to be seeing a Widow Mine drop move out for Cure, so this TVZ is just all over the place. Ultralisk are on the way here for Rogue, so he is getting up to that scarier late game tech that makes the Zerg force much, much more sturdy. As when you have Ultras in your army, you just trade very, very well. But, oh, look at that. The Widow Mine drop got 11 drones in all. A great trade for Cure. He's even going to lift up those Widow Mines. Doesn't quite save them all. But, yeah, a very good trade for Cure. And these mines might actually go back off cooldown and get more shots off. There's so much going on in this match that I'm not sure if Rogue is aware of those Widow Mines that are still buried there. Because look at this Cure, he's even dropping towards the right. Widow Mines are going to re-detonate there. He's been dropping to the left, so let's see. Those mines coming off cooldown. There's 6 more dead drones. That's 1 shot. What will this Widow Mine hit? Gets another pretty good hit. 3 more dead drones. The base on the right was canceled. Cure is going to want to pull back, but there's a Widow Mine. Oh, the connection it gets is pretty big. That's a lot of dead Zerglings. Cure's trying to push on the left. He's trying to push on the right, but for now, Rogue is starting to falter a bit. He was really pulled thin trying to defend all these bases off creep since they're so far out as well. Looks like Cure's drop on the right side did get cleaned up, not being able to micro that effectively to save those units' lives. And now we're actually going to see Rogue, without skipping a beat, is going to counterattack towards Cure. He says, right, you know what? I just defended your drop. How much do you really have back at home to defend? The answer looks like there is going to be enough for Cure, though. A ton of Widow Mines burrowed are even going to help clean out these Ultras. So this was actually a pretty good trade for Cure back at home. The fact that he dealt with the attack without really having to pull back units or anything like that. He's also still just on the left side with this army here, cleaning up more of the creep. Rogue managed to save his base in the top left. he's still mining with his 5th base. So on that front, he's not doing too poorly. However, Kier really has been keeping the pressure on his opponent. Kier is maxed out. He's on a much higher army supply due to his lower worker count. He's even getting up a 5th base while this is going on, throwing up an extra command center, going for a 6th. And then he's going to be pushing on the left, he's going to be pushing on right, and the question is, how effectively has Rogue split his army? The answer is not enough, because it seems that Kier picks off the base on the top left. He's hitting this newly building base on the right-hand side. It looks like that's going to be a kill or a cancel, and all of a sudden, Rogue is knocked down to 4 bases, and when Rogue was on 4 bases 5 minutes ago, it wasn't a great thing for Kier. Now that Rogue's on 4 bases, and now it's much, much better for Kier. Like, being on 4 bases at 15 minutes in the game is not very comfortable at all for the Zerg player. So he's trying to reestablish these bases. He's trying to get up as many expansions as he can. But it seems for Terran on this map, it's actually very tough for a Zerg to be spread out, taking bases on the right, taking bases on the left as well. It makes me wonder, and now look at this, a big engagement going on at the front. Kier with a ton of medivacs, way too many medivacs, dare I say. He's got 18 medivacs in all, and that is just actually a huge chunk of his supply. Here, though, he is going to be able to push on in. He's going to be able to pick off this base that Rogue has. Rogue has been knocked down to 3 bases. His economy is very, very injured. Looks like Rogue will lose his planetary. However, Kier is also going into Liberator production now, which really there isn't an answer from by Kier. In fact, the one saving grace that I'd say is there for Rogue is the fact that Kier actually has so much supply in medivacs that it is affecting his ability to make other things. Like 18 medivacs, I'll say it, that's a bit too many medivacs for Kier. Rogue, though, is in quite a tough spot this match. If we take a look, his base in the top left is even starting to mine out. He's trying to re-secure these bases, but it seems that Kier is there to shut them down at every step of the way. Rogue, he isn't really in position to save this hatchery here, so that's going to be canceled, or maybe even killed. Looks like it's a kill, and Rogue, I don't think, can afford losses like that at this point in the game. The Lings are moving into attack, but there's a Liberator in the sky, which really puts them on a timer. He's not going to kill off that many SCVs to slow Kier down, who has a bank. This base in the top left is going to be picked off, so that's effectively knocking Rogue down to 3 bases, and he just can't get himself established well enough in order to shut down Kier reliably. So it seems that every victory Kier takes just sets him up for the next one as well. He's kiting now wonderfully against the Ultras. They are melting against those +3 Marauders. There is chitinous plating, but the Ultras still a little bit too soft. The +3, whereas they don't have the +3 weapons for the Terran, whereas the Ultras don't have +3 armor yet, is really making them easier targets. Rogue is trying to hold on. He's actually coming in for quite a nice surround on the Terran force. He will force a liftoff. Vipers are also now on the way for Rogue, which I must say could be very, very good for the Zerg player, because look at all these medivacs. A lot of them are even quite injured, probably from Widowmine friendly fire, but man, once there's a parasitic bomb or 2 off on them, oh, it's going to be very, very nasty for Kier, I must say. The base in the top left is getting abandoned once again by Rogue. He's just expanding to the right. He's always had at least 1 base going, but at this point, he cannot afford to lose another. He's trying to counterattack again, but the problem is Kier is established at the point in which small counterattacks don't really hamper him as much as small counterattacks really hamper Rogue. Like, Kier has got extra bases to lose. He can float over more command centers. It looks like he's going to send some units to the right, probably to clean up these Lings on the bases, if I had to imagine. Lings want to attack on in, but that's not going to happen. And if we do take a look, Rogue has been given a second to breathe. He's now getting out Corruptors. He's got out these Vipers. They're at very full energy. They're going to be able to Blinding Cloud. Kier is going to have to split his units as well as he can. But there's the Parasitic Bomb going down for Rogue. Going to really soften up a lot of these medivacs, getting guaranteed kills already. It looks like this base will be canceled, though, which is not comfortable at all for Rogue. He doesn't have a backup now, so this fight that he's going to be taking here is going to have to be a very, very good one. And it looks like he might just charge through the center, which I'm not sure is the right decision for the Zerg. He's got to keep this base alive. There's absolutely no exception about that. These Marauders pushing on in, trying to be a pain, trying to bait the Zerg into a bad fight, but here we go. It's going to be a big surround coming from Rogue. Ultras coming from the bottom, avoiding the Liberators. The Corruptors moving in as well are going to make work on the Liberators, shut them down. The Vipers coming in as well, and it looks like this was a full cleanup for Rogue, so very well done on that front. There's a few units still running around, but no, a great trade there for Rogue, just shutting that down, keeping this base alive. But even this base here is starting to mine out for Rogue. He needs another hatchery up somewhere. He's queued this one up, but he's starting to realize that he really can't afford to take the base to take these left bases because they're just too easy targets. So he's just got to stay strong and try and basically just win and defend on these bases. But man, was there some big Widowmine hit or something? There was a lot of dead Zerg there. Rogue's going in for an attack. However, it seems that Kier just is too much. And I think, yeah, okay, Kier actually is going to take it with having more fresh bases, with having just, with having all these extra hatcheries here. It's looking, yeah, well done by Kier. Rogue maybe could have dragged it out, but he knew that he'd never get up more than like one extra base. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this match, let's actually go back and see if there was a big Widowmine hit that really hurt Rogue. Yeah, okay, there it is. The one final big Widowmine hit. Oh, that was nasty. That was a lot of supply. That was about 15 dead supply there. So very well done by Kier taking this game. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this match, make sure to press that like button. If you are new to the channel, subscribe. Just do it. As, you watched all the way to the end of the video, so I hope you did enjoy it. And of course, join the Discord. We have some fun posts there. We also have a replay submission section. And then, of course, feel free to consider supporting the channel via memberships, but no obligation. I'll see you next time. This has been LaughNgamez.